All right, welcome everybody. So this is lesson 1.4, and we're going to be talking about the distributive property. I know you guys have been using this a lot in middle school, but I want to make sure that as we go forward in the high school area that you guys will transcribe and bring forward the negative as we move forward. So this is going to be video 1 of 2. There's 2 pages of notes. Remember, either get the notes from your teacher in class or on Canvas. They'll be in both locations. And let's get started. So I'm going to skip down into basically the distributive property and what it ideally entails. And so what that basically is you have 3 numbers or 2 numbers, but in this case it's 3, A, B, and C. And when A plus B plus C equals AB plus C, or you guys can see how it's written, okay, A, B, A, and then in parentheses it's B minus C. You distribute the A and the B in, and you can kind of see the steps of the process of the distributive property. One of the big key things is I want to make sure that you guys also learn to transcribe the negative as we move forward into this lesson. All right, so let's begin. First things first is I show you these 3 examples, and then you guys will work on the next 3 by yourselves. Then we'll go from there. All right, pen function. Let's go with red as we start out today. All right, so first thing you want to do is make sure you understand that this 3, it's multiplied on the outside. And so it's 3 times 4, which would be written like this. And then it's plus 3 times v, right? So it'd be written like this. Now, this is the only time I'm going to write it like this. Every other time, I'm just going to straight up do the math. Okay, so your answer here would just be 12 plus 3v, right? Pretty simple, straightforward. Distribute the 7 in to both. So it'd be 7 times 3, which is 21w, minus 35, right? Straight up again. Now this time the 2 is on the back side, but you guys should know that that does not matter because it's 2 divided in, or 2 multiplied in. So it's 8 times 2 plus 4n times 2, which doesn't change anything. Going back to the previous lesson, the 2 lessons ago on 1.2 order of operations, you guys know that this would be 16 plus 8n. Now, you know we can't go any farther because it's a constant, and then the other one is a term with a variable in it, and you can't combine the 2. They're not similar, they're not like, okay? All right, so what I want you guys to do, go ahead and use the distributive property on these examples, and then pause the video and go from there. All right, hopefully you guys pause it. Remember, you're distributing the 5 in. And so when you distribute the 5 in here, you get 5w plus 25. This one here, you distribute the 4 in, you get 20 minus 4x. And then the last one would be 12 plus 9n. Okay, distributing the 3 from the outside in. Simple enough, right? So it's a basic concept, guys. Remember, how everything works with me when I'm teaching is it starts simple, and then I escalate it relatively quickly into something more complex to try to show you as complex of a portion of this lesson as I can. All right, now we're going to simplify an expression using a fraction and a negative as we go in. Now, here's the thing with the fractions. I want you guys to get rid of them as soon as possible. But in this case, we're going to multiply it in. And so remember what this is supposed to be. Remember we showed you this is supposed to be 3 over 1, and this is supposed to be negative 6x over 1. And so technically speaking, you guys got to know that this should be 3 divided by 2 times 3 divided by 1 minus, and then it'd be 6x over 1 times 3 over 2 like this, right? So knowing that, then you guys would do the order of operations, right? So this would be 3 times 3 is 9 over 2 minus 6 times 3 is 18, and then there's the x, and that's divided by 2. And then you would see if you can simplify, right? 9 cannot go into 2, so you would just leave that alone, 9 over 2. But you can, 18 divided by 2 does equal 9x, just like that. Okay. Same thing here. Now we're going to distribute the 9 in. This is the first time I've ever taught with you guys. So we're talking about, remember, negative and a negative turns into a positive. So this would be 36b, and then positive 2 and negative 9 is negative 18y. Negative and a negative ends up being a positive 9. Okay, same thing. Okay, try again. You distribute in again. This is going to be negative 16v plus 4w plus 12, right? Because negative times a negative changes the signs up. All right, so what I want you guys to do is work on the next grouping together, and good luck. All right, hopefully you pause the video. If not, hurry up and quickly do it. Multiply the 10 in. So remember, this is going to be 10 over 1 times 1/2 x. And then it's going to be plus 10 over 1 times 2/5, right? So now you guys using the order of operations, you should know that this would be 10 over 2 x plus 20 over 5, right? And you can reduce both of these, right? 10 divided by 2 is 5x, and then 20 divided by 5 is 4, and there's your final answer. The other one over here, negatives. To make sure you transfer the negatives in, right? So it's going to be a 24x, and it's plus 12v, and it's going to be minus 30 at that point. This one over here is going to be a positive 3v, a negative 9y, and a positive 15, right? Negative, 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 positive. You guys get the drift. Okay, if you struggle with this, you need to see me immediately so that way we get through this together. All right, the next thing here on the bottom of this first page is the next step is going to be combining like terms. And so what this is up here you put like terms are terms that contain the same variables with corresponding variables having the same power. And then the distributive property and the properties of equality can be shown. Okay, so one of the things I want to make sure you guys understand is that here are three terms, right? This is 5x squared. That is not the same as 2x, and it is not the same as 4. Those are three different variations of a term. Now, here's what is the same term, is a squared. Okay, so my example I give is if I have some of these pens here next to me, and basically I have two that are the same. Okay, and if I want to combine these together and by taping them up, now it's not just one A pen. Okay, now it's two pens taped together. So this is a functionality where this has to be a squared. Okay, where it's no longer separate. This would be 2A, right? Here's one, here's two. So there's two pens. But when you combine them together, they become squared. Okay, if I were to add another one on here, different color, but who cares? It'd be a to the third because now they are to combine together. They're not to be separated. If I superglue these all together, you're not breaking these apart. Okay, it would be 1, 2, 3a, but together it would be a to the third. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand that concept. And so there are two different things. All right, so what I want you guys to do is pause the video or stop it and then move on to section 2 for the next page.